Lucy Edwards, Director of Strategic Engagement at Metaport and VHT Studios, and we are at Inman Connect 2023 in New York City. And my guest today is Matt Creston, and you are with Sotheby's Concierge Auctions. So that is a very upcoming industry that is really getting more and more popular, and I would like to talk about that. So what is your role in the company?
Yes, so like she said, my name is Matt Creston, Director of Business Development with Sotheby's Concierge Auctions, and my job is to meet with the sellers and walk them through the auction process, how it works, how it plays out, and we take basically the nicest house on the block that can sometimes take 3 years to sell, and we sell it in 30 days. And then we close, no contingencies, as is, where is, so everyone gets to get the highest and best price possible, knowing that there is competition to get there.
So who decides the starting point?
Buyers. So we charge a premium, that's how we get paid, but we offer them an incentive to commit to a starting bid, a bid that they're comfortable starting their bidding at and go up from there. So that's kind of who decides, if you want to call it a reserve, in a sense, it kind of is a reserve. People start wherever they're comfortable and then bid up and go from there.
And how long the process is? So let's say you put the house on the market through the auction, through the concierge auction, and then how does it take? Where does it go from there? Is it a week? Is it a month?
So when we take on a property, we market it for about 5 weeks or so, and then we have an auction that'll last anywhere typically between 3 and 7 days, and then we close 30 days later, no contingency, as is where is. So we can sell a house in as little as 60 days from start to closing and funding. But we work on a seller's timeline. So if they are ready to sell whenever, that's what we're there for. It doesn't matter if it's in the spring or fall. We have a database of over 800,000 people. So whenever a seller is ready to sell, we're there for them.
And what about mortgage process? Is there such thing as mortgage, or is it all cash buyers?
It's pretty much all cash buyers. Typically the houses that we take on, the average price point is around $5 million or so on what it sells for. So they can get financing if they want to. However, the close date will not be contingent upon them getting financing. So everyone nowadays is talking about mortgage rates, how it's going up. Throw that out the window. It doesn't matter in our world.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when you have $5 million in cash. Yep. Definitely not.
Yep.
What about appraisals and inspections? Even if you are buying it as is, let's say if someone would like to know what are they buying?
So great question. We actually do all the due diligence beforehand. So when the property is going to auction during that, call it 5-week marketing period, we do an inspection report. We make sure the title's clean. We do all the due diligence beforehand. So we upload it to our site so that each and every buyer can download it and review and know, I need to change out the door handles or whatever the case may be. They can factor that into their bidding. And if they want to send their own inspector over or whoever, well, that's what we're there for. We've got someone marketing the place. They can access the property whenever, and due diligence is done beforehand so that when the gavel goes down, it's closing.
Well, and how does that work about, let's say if they want to fix something before they even close and they want to get some pricing on that, will you allow anyone and everyone to get into the property?
Factor it into your bid. So anyone can come through the property to say, let's say there's an AC unit out. Let's say there's I use door handle or lights need to be replaced, whatever it is. Factor that into your bid because the seller is not going to be doing that before the gavel goes down. That's going to be on the buyer at that point. And we don't do distressed properties by any stretch. These are the nicest houses on the block. So sure, there's going to be something that needs to be updated, but just factor it into your bid.
What about realtors? Do you work closely with various real estate agencies, companies?
That's where most of my business come from. So we are brand agnostic. We'll work with any brokerage out there. And the great thing is with our process, your listing agreement stays in place. So whatever you've negotiated with the seller beforehand, let's say it's a 6% commission, 3% to the buyer's agent, 3% to the seller's agent, that stays the same. So the seller actually doesn't owe us anything. Our premium, the way we make money, is paid by the buyer.
What about marketing strategy? you just told me that you market the property for about 5 weeks.
Yep.
So how do you market? What marketing tools you are using? And you do have large database. So is it like mostly email blasts or is it mailers?
So both. So mailers, email blast, printed material, Google Ads, you name it. That's what we do, and that's why we spend a lot of money to make sure that we are getting the most exposure possible for the property. We've transacted with, I believe, over 60 billionaires. We have a database of over 800,000 people that are interested in our properties. And the example that I hear a lot about nowadays is someone moving from California to Texas, right? And let's say we have a property that goes on our platform that's we have one right now that's gaveling in a few hours outside of Houston. So maybe they weren't necessarily looking for a property in Houston. They just wanted a Texas property. And this property pops onto our website. They get interested. They sign up to bid. A third of our bidders typically come from our database, high net worth individuals that are looking for the right property at the right time.
Interesting. So are they investment properties, would you say? Or someone, well, it's probably not, right? For $5 million, someone is buying for themselves.
It's a mix. It depends on the property. Sometimes it'll be more an investment play. It'll be more so an end user looking to move into the home full-time, part-time, whatever the case may be. And we've got a phrase where we'll let them all play. I don't care who you are, where you are, as long as we make them put up $100K to bid. So they've got some real skin in the game. You got proof of funds, sign off on a couple documents acknowledging bids are binding. We're going to close about 30 days after the auction, as is. Whereas, as long as you're up for that, we're up for you.
And what about the marketing strategy itself? Do you use, I'm with Matterport, so do you use Matterport, professional photography? Who decides what tools will be used on each property?
Yep. So typically by the time a property comes to us, it's been listed for, let's say, 3 months to 3 years, potentially. So they probably already have a Matterport done. If they don't, that's something that we definitely want to get on their radar because a lot of our bidders, they don't have time to go fly out to a different place to walk through a house for 30 minutes. They would much rather send their realtor or one of their representatives to come check out the place and then also still get that 3D feel for it through Matterport.
So you enjoy Matterport?
I really enjoy Matterport, yeah.
And you are using it quite a bit, since you have your potential buyers are traveling throughout the country and sometimes probably from overseas.
Yep, absolutely. Reason personally, not company related, I like Matterport because it really puts me in and makes me feel when I'm walking through a home. You can kind of feel that more than just pictures only go so far.
Well, thank you so much.
Yep.
How about international buyers? Do you have a lot of international buyers purchasing American properties?
Yeah, absolutely. We have people all over the country, all over the world that participate in our auctions. A lot of them do come from our database where it's kind of crazy, where we had an auction in California where someone did not win that auction, but then they saw an auction in Indonesia pop up, and from our marketing in California, they got into our database, keep an eye on our website. Now they're participating in an auction in Indonesia. And there's no way to realistically predict that. It just happens. And that's part of our process, and that's what we bring to the table.
I guess your potential buyer was determined to spend the $5 million. So if California didn't work out, Indonesia will.
I want everyone to enjoy the process and enjoy winning, but I also like the losers because that means they didn't win that one. And a lot of the times these people are competitive people. They're high net worth. They got to where they're at for a reason. And if they didn't win one, they're going to win another.
And where are your headquarters? Here in New York City?
Somewhat, yes. We're more so remote. We, in a sense, really benefited from COVID, where we were all spread out throughout the country, throughout the world. We were already working remote beforehand. So we have different offices scattered out. But for example, I live in Fort Worth, Texas. My colleagues that are here live in Florida. We're all spread out.
Well, I wish you all the best and good luck to you. Well, you don't need any luck. You are working for a great company, great institution. So just enjoy Inman and great success to you at the show.
Great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a great day. Cheers.